I'm Frank Dominguez. Join me each week for Concierto, a celebration of the Latin contribution to classical music. From classic composers such as Enrique Granados to contemporary conductors such as Gustavo Dudamel, the Hispanic heritage in classical music is extensive, and you can hear it in English and in Spanish each time on Concierto.
Every Wednesday night at 8 on KSJE, Farmington. This program is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, who's expanding its services to offer low-cost blood screenings all year round, now offering walk-in convenience to get the blood tests you want when you want them. MyLabs, patient-ordered testing, is available in Farmington at the hospital's laboratory and the Outpatient Diagnostic Center on 30th Street. Also in Aztec at San Juan Health Partners Family Medicine at 120 Llanos Street. With nearly 20 tests available, there's an option for everyone. MyLabs, patient-ordered testing, a wellness service of San Juan Regional Medical Center. 8:35, Friday morning on KSJE. You're listening to the Scott Michlin Morning Program. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and good morning to our viewers who are watching us live on the KSJE Facebook page and our YouTube channel. We are showing you a picture of beautiful and snowy Chama, New Mexico, where at the moment it is 34 degrees in Chama today. The snow is compacting a little bit because of the warmer temperatures. Today's high 44 in Chama, 33 overnight, but they do have more snow in the forecast for the weekend, with highs only in the 30s and overnight lows in the 20s. That is in Chama for today. Here at home in Farmington, we have a current temperature outside of 39 degrees outside our studios here at San Juan College in Windsor out of the east at 4 miles per hour. We are expecting a mostly cloudy day today on this Friday, but warm. 58 for a high in Farmington today, clouds and 37 tonight. Then that chance of showers in the forecast for us as well for Saturday, Sunday, and maybe into Monday. 48 for a high tomorrow. We'll see a high of 51 on Sunday and 50 on Monday, with overnight lows mostly in the 30s, from about 40 degrees tomorrow night to about 33 degrees for an overnight low on Monday night. Friday morning here on KSJE, and you're listening to the Scott Michlin Morning Program. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. And thanks to those of you who are watching us this morning, our visual radio program on the KSJE Facebook page and YouTube channel. My guest this morning from the C.A.S.A program here in San Juan County, as I have mentioned, we have the C.A.S.A intern from the office. Ashley Lovato is here from New Mexico Highlands University. Again, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good to see you. And also, Becky Adams is here. She's a volunteer supervisor for C.A.S.A. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And also joining us here in the studio is Kevin Gorman, who is the advocate coach for the C.A.S.A program. Good morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
Good to have all of you with me this morning to talk about the C.A.S.A program, all the great work that it does in the community. And again, the timing for your visit is because the training is coming up on April the 2nd, and that's just a little over a month away. And so folks are thinking about it, considering it, maybe thought about it, somebody told them about it. Now would be the time to call C.A.S.A and get the application packet, start filling that out and getting it turned back in time to get ready for this training. And so if folks do want to call, what would the number be to give you guys a call at the office?
So you want to call 505-325-5358, and you'll get the Child Haven
answering service,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And you're going to want to select 6, and that's going to direct you straight to C.A.S.A, and it's actually going to ring all of our phones. So if I'm not at my desk, Becky's on our desk, Amy's on our desk, somebody should be there. If not, please leave a message, and it comes straight to our phones and our emails, so we will definitely get back as soon as we get the message.
Okay. And it's that application packet that is really important that folks start to fill out and get turned back in before the training, because you guys have to do certain things with the individual, like background checks and this and that, to kind of get them ready to go for the training.
Yes. We definitely would like all of our applicants, if possible. I mean, it's not rare. We will still take somebody at the end if that's just a last decision.
Sure.
But we do ask just for the one simple reason is that we need to get everybody registered for fingerprints to know that they can pass the background check. Unfortunately, we've had the situation to where somebody didn't pass CA.S.A background and they went through the 30 hours of training, and then in the end we couldn't use them because if you don't pass the background check, that just doesn't clear you to be around children and families. So it's very important if you get the process started, the sooner the better. Right.
And again, the sooner the better, as you mentioned. And so the number, one more time, if you don't mind repeating it for us all.
Yeah, it's 505-325-5358, and please select 6.
That's the number to select and get you the application information to become a CA.S.A volunteer. And again, you have to be 21 years or older.
Yes.
And willing to give about 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours a month. Is that kind of the rolling figure that we come up with?
Yes.
For things. And so good. And so let's talk a little bit about the training, because I want to ask you about that, because as you mentioned, it's fairly extensive. It's how many hours again?
It's 30 hours.
30 hours of training, but you have it scheduled for after work hours, so if someone was working full-time and still wanted to be a volunteer, they could fit the training into their schedule. And I know we've talked before that many employers are pretty generous when someone comes and says, hey, I need a few hours off today to go to a court case for my CA.S.A volunteer work. A lot of employers are very generous in allowing them to do that.
Yes.
Their workers. And so the training starts off and covers all different types of things, right? Take me through it a little bit.
So,
Amy, or Becky, I'm sorry. Amy's not here, but should be here, but will be here maybe later on. But Becky, you've done some of these trainings, right?
Yes.
Kevin's done one.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about the training.
Yes, we cover a lot of the different areas that the advocate will be facing, such as the different systems through the CYFD, different people they will meet, the permanency planning workers, the investigators. We go through the hearing timeline, and also the way that the child will move through the legal system. We cover a lot of that. We talk about domestic violence issues, mental health issues. We have experts across the community that come and present on many of these cases, these situations, these topics. And then we also cover things like the court report,
right?
Confidentiality. We actually have on Saturday, we work a case. We have a example type case that we have the trainees work through, and then we use that to kind of simulate a court report. Although we'll be working with the advocate on that first report or two, or as many as they need.
Sure.
Still, we want them to realize the basic information that they're going to be gathering. So these are just some of the topics that are covered.
Right.
And like Kevin mentioned, it is 5 evenings spread across 2 weeks, and then one full Saturday.
Got it.
That we go through this information.
But I imagine that's very helpful for a lot of the new volunteers to see kind of how the case then works its way into the report and what you pull from that information into the report that goes on to the judge.
Yes, yes. Although sometimes by the time they get to the first report, they're going, I have no idea what I'm doing. So that's okay.
That's when they call you, right? Or Kevin,
yes.
or any other staff members.
The supervisors sit with them and go through it and help them to plug all the information that they have gathered into that report.
And I always think that's really important for folks to understand if they're thinking about doing this, because it's such great work in the community, but they may seem a little overwhelmed or intimidated again, but there's such a great support system from all of you, even the other volunteers, I suppose, that can be available to help if somebody does have a question, if they're just getting started and really want to know what to do in a certain situation. I mean, you all, I think, are available almost 24/7, are you not?
Yes. In fact, we have our emails, but we also have our phones. We give the person our phone number. So basically, if they were to need us, they could call us 24/7, 365.
Right.
We ask them to respect that, but we are available for whatever they need.
If folks have a question. Mm-hmm. Very good. Well, great. And I want to go back to Ashley a little bit to talk a little bit about your past, if you don't mind, because you were in the foster care system growing up, right?
Correct. I was in foster home for about 4 years of my life.
Okay. And you did not have a CA.S.A volunteer.
No, I did not.
Assigned to your particular case. And so learning and seeing what you've seen from being involved with C.A.S.A, tell me a little bit about your impressions. Do you see how maybe that could that have helped you in your situation?
I do. I think it would have been beneficial to me if I would have had a C.A.S.A volunteer, so that way I could have told the C.A.S.A what I felt and what I was wanting in my situation,
Right.
where I wanted to be.
Right. And so for children that don't have that, we've talked about the 96%, that means there's still some children that don't have a C.A.S.A volunteer. So again, I imagine you can see maybe that would be nice to have 100%.
Yes, it would be great to have the 100%.
Based on your upbringing and your past, right, and your
Correct.
experiences. And so has this kind of prompted you for your line of work and line of education? Is this why you're getting into this field of work, a little bit about giving back in your childhood?
Yes, the reason why I chose the social work was to give back, because I know how it feels to be on the other side, and I want to be the child's voice.
Right, right. Well, good luck to you again, and thank you for sharing that with us this morning.
Thank you.
You bet. And what are some of the other questions you get from the potential volunteers? Do they just are not sure about the time commitment, or sticking with it, or what do you hear from them when they do have questions?
Well, a lot of the times it is, how long do I have to visit for? So we do ask that you visit for at least an hour, and if you would like to stay any longer and there isn't any plans with the foster family or intervene with anything else planned, we do ask that you're more than welcome to spend more time if you'd like, and if the child is willing to actually sit there and visit with you as well.
Right.
And then the other thing is, well, can I have a case in Farmington, because we serve San Juan County. And so it's not a guarantee thing. Foster families could be in, Aztec, Bloomfield, Kirtland, like just different areas. And so we definitely tell our volunteers it could change. And sometimes there's a disruption in placement, and that can change again. So we just tell them, like, the location is definitely something that's never promised. So those are the two biggest things. And then, of course, what if I can't make a day that's here on the pre-service training? So we don't tell anybody, oh, you have to be there. We would like you to be there because, it is very, very important, for one. But if you have to miss a day, say you have a class or you just had night shift or something, we do a one-on-one makeup. But of course that is at their own pace. So that kind of holds them back, especially for somebody who is eager to get started and have their own case. That could be a barrier, but we definitely do, sit down and do a makeup because, they've at least attended 5 different days, so they're committed at that point.
Right, right.
And then, of course, history background. Well, what if I have this that's going to hold me back? And we always tell them, if you have any past paperwork that says that, your charges or anything like that were dismissed, we do submit that with the background. But ultimately, it's not up to us to pass background checks. It is up to Children, Youth, and Family. That's where our backgrounds come from.
They're the ones that are doing the
Yes.
check and give you the final, I guess, thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yes, they'll give us a letter that tells them whether they're eligible or not eligible.
I see.
So, and those are good for at least 4 years, and then we'll do another one, and that's a national C.A.S.A regulation.
Right. And I imagine a lot of some of the things that you do or don't do are covered by some of these regulations, right? And you're really driven by what has worked in other places and for years and years.
Yes. Yeah, so of course everything, our training is national. And C.A.S.A is throughout, of course, the United States. So there are multiple programs in New Mexico, and so we have to follow a certain curriculum when it comes down to training. So this isn't just something we do. Some people say, oh my gosh, this is a lot of material, because when you get signed up, you get handed a 3-ring binder, and it's, I believe, about 400 pages. And some people say, do I have to read all this? And we say, no. We ask them to review it, at least read the first chapter after. So when we get started, you kind of know which direction we're going to start out in.
Right.
The first day is introduction to kind of learn more about C.A.S.A. and what the foundations are of C.A.S.A. And then, of course, you get to meet a investigator, and they kind of tell you how a case actually gets started. And then from the days after, we start growing on that. So, yeah, everybody thinks the material's crazy big, but what we also do is in the year we do in-service trainings once a month. So if we find different resources in the community and we kind of educate our volunteers about other services that they can take advantage of and tell their families or anybody else in the community that needs these assistance. If we don't have any programs set up, what we do is we go back to our training binder and we pick something that we would like to kind of refresh our minds on, and so we are constantly looking back into the binder. So it isn't something that's just a one-time deal. So we definitely refer back to it.
I see. Well, and again, it's important that folks know they have that support and that training as they're going into this very important volunteer position to advocate on behalf of a child. And again, they're signed up for about a year, but many stay longer to see the cases through. And we've talked a little bit about those reports that are made and filed, and so the judges appreciate all that insight, right?
They do. They definitely. Sometimes, you know, it's not uncommon for somebody to say, "I read C.A.S.A. reports before I read anything else," because in the end, sometimes C.A.S.As know a little bit more than others. And so sometimes we get people that reach out to us and say, "Hey, you know, am I missing anything? Can you tell me more?" C.A.S.As are really good about emailing everybody, the team, just to kind of give updates so everybody stays on the same page. But in reality, C.A.S.As see the children more often than anybody else. So that's why we have a little bit more information. So it is beneficial.
True. We talked a little bit about the guardian ad litem who represents the child in the court case, but many times they have not just that one case, right? They're dealing with how many cases at a time, would you say? It's a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot.
Okay.
I don't know what the number is, but it's certainly a lot. And so we definitely don't want our C.A.S.As to feel like they're just another name. So then that's another thing that's also beneficial is to being a C.A.S.A. is they feel like somebody is interested, somebody's showing up, somebody cares, and so that's kind of a neat thing to see. And then you'll also see the change in a child as they start to come around and they start to trust you and they start to open up to you, and that's success right there.
Right. Makes a big difference,
yes,
I would think,
does.
for those children. And Becky Adams, in the minutes we have remaining this morning, I know there's a lot of children that are in need of C.A.S.A. volunteers, as we've talked about. There are a lot of opportunities for folks to get involved, but I imagine it'd be nice to have a nice diverse group of C.A.S.A. volunteers, male and female and Hispanic and Native American and Anglo and all that, to be able to fit into what you are placing those children with these volunteers, right?
Yes, being able to be aware of the culture of the child and like be able to be the male figure that's strong in the child's life. These things are important, and so we do value diversity in our different volunteers. This last training, we were very fortunate to have 3 men that were able to take the course and be able to take cases. And it really helped because there are many of these children that do not see a father figure or a male figure in their life. Also the cultural aspect. There are many cultures that we do serve, and being able to understand the culture of that child and be able to make sure that the diversity of that child is respected and that that child is educated in their specific culture and needs.
Right. I noticed that part of the training includes a session on the Indian Child Welfare Act, which is another important piece of legislation that C.A.S.A. volunteers should be familiar with and would be from the training, but important for them to know because those children have certain protections than as opposed to other children because of this particular federal law.
Yes, there's even different legalities as far as the timeline that have to be respected when it's talking about an Indian Child Welfare Act case. There are many different things that have to be considered, so we appreciate people who do know the culture and then being able to take that piece and implement it into the case.
Right. Very good. Well, we are just about out of time, everybody, so I can't thank you enough for being here to talk about the C.A.S.A program and all the good that it does for children in our community. And we've heard some a personal story from you, Ashley, so thank you again for sharing that and the work that you are doing even as an intern and going to school, because I know you're going to get into this line of work when you've completed it. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. The phone number again, if folks would like more information and to pick up the application packet, how can they get a hold of the C.A.S.A program?
Yes, they can reach us at 505-325-5358, option 6. That'll put them into the C.A.S.A office, and we'll take care of them.
Okay. Very good. And again, you're looking for volunteers for the training that starts in about a month from now. Also, service learning here at San Juan College. If students are looking for an opportunity, this could fit into that as well.
Yes. Of course, you can always go to our Child Haven website as well, and you'll find all of our forms there as well. And then, of course, we don't have a lot of people on our Facebook page, so we are actually working on that too, so we can reach out and let everybody know what we're doing at the C.A.S.A program as well.
Okay, so they can check you out on Facebook, right?
Yes.
And the website, I believe, is childhavennm.org.
Yes, it is.
How we can find you on
Yes.
the internet. So wonderful. Thank you all for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Scott.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the work that you all do. My guest from the C.A.S.A program, court-appointed special advocate here in San Juan County on KSJE. Back with more in just a moment, everybody.
Academic Minute, and join us as we discover cutting-edge research from colleges and universities around the world. Tune in to broaden your understanding of the past and be the first to learn how today's innovations will transform our tomorrow. From the latest breakthrough in green technology to the discovery of humanity's oldest tools, you'll find it all on the Academic Minute.
Listen every weekday afternoon during the KSJE Evening News at 5:30. It's 8:56, KSJE, and it's time now to check in with Wally D from Wally D Sports to tell us all about prep sports this week, and things are getting down to the important games, right?
It definitely
these
is.
days.
District tournament all this week's been going on.
Right.
Of course, Friday it's girls championship in the area, and then tomorrow, and actually there are girls tomorrow also, but it's championship Friday and Saturday.
It is, and you're telling me the girls are what's really carrying the region, right? The only boys team that really is doing relatively well on their way to state, perhaps, is Navajo Prep.
Navajo Prep boys, yeah, they host their district tournament championship tomorrow. They actually finished second in the district, and they really should have finished first. They kind of had a little lapse in the middle, but they've really come back strong, and they will host through tomorrow at 6 o'clock at Navajo Prep. Through upset the #1 seed last night.
Wow.
Which was Wingate, so Navajo Prep, well on their way and should get a good seed in the state tournament.
Okay, go Eagles. But it's the girls that we're watching too, and they're the ones that are really keeping this somewhat interesting, right? This part of the season.
Kirtland Central girls, #1 in their district, also #1 in the state, so they should get a #1 seed going into the tournament.
Okay.
Their district tournament championships tonight against Gallup. Gallup's always a big rival for Kirtland, and that game's at 6 o'clock at Kirtland Central tonight. So, lots of great basketball going on.
This will be the weekend to get out there, right, and to see some of these big games, because a lot riding on them.
Yeah, and then Navajo Prep girls are also tonight. Their district tournament championship. They'll get a really good seed. Probably, I would say, a 4 or 5 in the state tournament.
Okay. Very good. And then, so again, the decisions will be made by Monday. We'll know, right?
By Monday. Should be sometime Sunday. Everybody will be glued to their computers on Sunday looking and seeing where those at. And then you also got the Piedra Vista girls who hosts their tournament championship tomorrow at 6:30, and of course I'll be bringing that game live on 107.9 Pirate Radio.
Okay.
Is where I broadcast that, and it'll be fun. It'll be West Mesa, and it's the number 1 and 2 teams in the state going against each other.
Nice. So should watch for something important there.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely. And PV still, whether they win or lose, they still should get the number 1 seed because they beat West Mesa in the regular season games twice, and that takes precedent over this tournament.
Right. Okay. So we'll see, and then things got to get ready for state, right?
Then state starts next week. Fridays the girls, Saturdays is the boys, and then they go on to Albuquerque. They win that first round game. Then it's the 8 teams left, and it'll be a long week of basketball.
Okay, so you're going to be filling up the car with lots of gasoline and getting tuned up, ready to go, because you'll be on the road here not too long.
Right. Well, I'll go down there and stay in Albuquerque for the whole week.
I know you don't commute back and forth.
Yeah, I've done that before, but I don't want
to. No, you don't want to do that.
It's a lot of driving. Went to Albuquerque last night. Farmington girls, of course, they'll make the state tournament also. They lost to West Mesa last night, and but they'll still make it into the top 8. And should get to host a home game next Friday night.
Okay, so they could work their way back, perhaps.
Well, they should win their first round game and move on to Albuquerque. And what's crazy, in the second round, there's 4 teams from that district that are so solid. And they've already played each other like 3 times already, and then they get to the state tournament and the quarterfinals. They may see each other again.
True. Interesting. Okay. Well, rivalries, right?
Rivalries, exactly.
That's how it'll work. All right. Well, keep us up to speed, Wally, won't you?
I definitely will. And of course, hopefully we'll get to see the state tournament here in a couple of weeks. Be on live with you from there.
We'll connect with you. You can't escape us, so we'll find you wherever you are down there. So very good. And your Facebook page, and folks can see some of the interviews and things that you do.
Wally D Sports.
Right.
And and we try to do interviews with the coaches before the games. We don't always get them. Sometimes they're busy or crazy or whatever. But we do usually get interviews, and we usually post the games that we broadcast and everything. So
check it out, everybody. Okay, very good. Wally, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. It'll be a busy one.
Busy.
Again for you. That's Wally D from Wally D Sports. He's with me on Fridays to talk about prep sports here on KSJE Farmington.